We are leaving Sucúa and headed to our midway stop halfway between here and Quito.
Roll it across, and he took off on this airstrip from last time right here. And in the front of the house, still a little radio there, and that's where the five wives were huddled around listening for. They get a phone call or a radio call every day. I think the set time was about 3:30, and on that day, January 8th, the phone call didn't come, so they knew right away that there was a problem. They sent another missionary, the same missionary that built the runway in Sucúa. They sent him and his Shuar Indian guide to find the bodies. They didn't know what they were going to find. They sent them on the recovery team. And the Shuar Indian guide was Camilo's grandfather. Camilo that you worked with this week, that was his grandfather. His grandfather was the right-hand man of a missionary back then. And Camilo's dad, he's one of our pastors, has memories as a young boy. He accompanied his dad on that trip. He has memories of seeing the bodies with the spear stuck in them. They took off from this runway. It spent weeks, months building up a relationship with the Rwani. It was not just a one-time thing and they got killed. It was not at all like that. They were building up a relationship with them. The Lord had his hand in on it. If you've seen the movie End of the Spear, it starts with a scene where one family attacks another family or a village against another village, and some little kids escape running through the jungle. The little girl that escaped made her way all the way to Puyo, that last city that we just went through, made her way out of the jungle, which is a miracle for that to even happen. It would have taken her weeks to do that. And of all the people that she came in contact with, it was Rachel Saint, Nate Saint's sister, Rachel. Just an awesome lady, and she took that little girl in years before this happened. And that little girl taught Rachel Saint some of her native language. Now, Rachel didn't know that the guys were planning this whole visit to the Sunridge People Group. So there's a lot of little things happening behind the scenes. So what happened is when she found out, she was able to teach them some of the native greetings. The Rwani greetings. So the guys were able to with a megaphone from the airplane as they're circling over the village, were able to greet them in their own language. Because that little girl that years earlier had escaped from a massacre of one village to the other. The way they made contact with the airplane, at first they could not land out in the jungle. They would fly in a circle and let a rope down in a bucket, and if you flew in a perfect circle, that rope would stay steady and straight, and they would lower gifts down to the Rwani. The Rwani would come and take the gifts out, and eventually the Rwani would put gifts back in. One was a live bird, beautiful, beautiful bird, and that bird became Nate Saint's son's pet for years and years after that. After his father was killed, he had that pet bird, and the reason they were killed, from what we understand, was just a sad rumor. There was a young boy and girl, a teenage boy and girl, who spent the day with them at the beach that day. The way they finally landed, were able to land a plane. Nate Saint was an incredible pilot. He was able to land that plane on a little strip of sand on the river. If the river was down low enough, it exposed enough sand on one of the riverbeds that he was able to drop that plane in and land just perfect. It was pretty miraculous to be able to do that. It used to be, but it's brand new. It's pretty weird. Lunch is not a...
Well, we are in Baños at a little shopping, a touristy stop. We're stopping for lunch. What is Logan and Gary buying over here?
I'm just looking.
You're just looking?
But it's too small for my finger.
Look at that.
Pretty.
I think that's cool though.
They got a lot of nice stuff. Well, we've stopped for lunch at a little touristy place, and lo and behold, we find the shops at East Chase. Look at there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Ecuador. Incredible. Been a great trip. Proud of my folks. Well, here we are at Mercedes Restaurant in Rio Verde, Ecuador. Let me go in and see what everybody's getting ready to eat. I think the bus driver's going to cook. He not only drives the bus, he cooks on the way. Roberto Ramos. Well, this is where we stopped to eat today. Beautiful spot. Beautiful spot. Rio Verde. This looks like a ride coming. Roberto! The dinosaur park. Jurassic Park. That's what comes out of those big rocks. They're really dinosaur eggs. we are at Parque Termatico, getting ready to do the rope swing. Swing out into space. Come on, Mikey, you make it.
I'll make it.
We're at only like 8,100 feet. There's Matt.
Big boys home.
There we are. We're swing off the world. Well, we're up here at the swing somewhere in Ecuador. We're up among the clouds. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, Daniel, what do you think?
It's been spectacular.
Well, here comes Haley and Elise and Jonathan.
Oh, that was a walk. Take a picture of me wearing sandals and a peacoat.
Weather station. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Are you ready? Any last words, Logan?
You listen to me, please. In number 3, only keep your feet up, okay? Only keep your feet up. 1, 2, 3, keep your feet up. Keep your feet up, keep your feet up. Nice, it's okay. Relax, keep your feet up, keep your feet up, keep your feet up. Lay back, look at me.
Look back.
Lay back, look at me. Come on. Nice. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Lay back, look at me.
Look back.
Sit down, sit down, sit down. I know. Open your arms. Open your arms. Nice.
Okay. Your camera's ready?
Go.
Are you out of breath?
Yes.
It's as far as we're getting. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Feet up, feet up.
The bar's been big.
Anything that has duct tape on that side.
He had
Feet up. There you go.
No, she said she's good enough. She can push her own. Robin said the rooster's down here.
I want you to do stills.
Have you?
Yeah. That is the volcano. It broke through the clouds for us.
Huh?
That'd be a
Incredible.
great picture right there.
Yeah.
And when you see that right now, it's not covered.
That tree don't look too stable.
The volcano. What's the name of that volcano, Jonathan? Or Matt?
Tungurawa.
Tungurawa.
Throat of fire.
Throat of fire. Wow, it's really clearing out for us.
So when is the volcano going to explode?
Right now.
Well,
It could be any day. Literally, I mean, it could be today.
Really?
I've been here before. When it has gone, it's woke me up in the middle of the night.
wow.
How far does it shoot rocks? Can it hit us?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, if it blew, yeah. And this is the tree that he was hiding inside when it blew real big in
Yeah.
2006.
Is that him?
He was inside that. No, he's. That's pretty cool.
Hey, here you go, Bill.
Here we go, here we go.
With the volcano in the background.
Right before we throw our sacrifice into the volcano. But if she goes, I go, so we might not do that.
All right. Good deal.
Oh, okay.
There's the rope swing.
Hey, there goes us.
We're in Baños. The clouds are rolling in.
That's why I'm like, hey, can you hack up there? Oh, we gotta get a guy. I'm like, really? I've done volcanoes. We just like got a good set of hiking boots. We hiked all night so we could be there when sunrise. I don't know. We can see though.
I think the clouds are coming in, at least.
They really are, aren't they? I want
Yeah,
to grab a flower.
for real.
I don't want us to get in trouble if I grab
You
a
won't.
flower.
You won't get in trouble.
Let me grab one of those, your red and yellow ones.
I'll get it on video so that you, if they want evidence.
Don't do that.
Uh-oh. Elise is stealing a flower, and Jonathan's going to get right in the way. Oh! She stole the flower. I have proof.
Qué hermosa flor. Es muy única también, por eso ya la tengo. Gracias.
Very good.
Sí, muy bonita.
Wow, look at those. There's a tree full of those.
2.50 me hace pagar, oye. Y no se sube.
Well, we are arriving at a halfway point to Quito. This is our Wednesday evening break day. Well, we're checking in.
Está arriba, parte alta. Y estas son pasando spa.
Dorita.
Javier, they take care of us so well every time. The place, you can already tell, is pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah.
This was a 300-year-old monastery. It's like a museum. There's all kinds of nooks and crannies and things to explore. You can even get out in the balcony and climb all the way top. Don't try to pet the peacocks. Take pictures. They do remember you. I've had them wake me up at 6 in the morning, knocking on my window. This is the main area. This is where you'll come tonight. 7:30 por la cena de noche. We're super 7:30. Come right in here. We're gonna go in there to the left for the dinner.
Well, we are in the Samari Resort. Beautiful. We're halfway to Quito, where we'll end up tomorrow and then flying out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Breathtaking. Beautiful. Everywhere you look. It's like a botanical garden. It's an old monastery. That they turned into a spa hotel. Well, there's Gary.
I couldn't resist it. I had to get out here and get some pictures.
Amen.
I'm telling you, it's gorgeous.
The Hotel Samari Spa, just part of the beautiful gardens. Flowers and everywhere. Mountains everywhere. This would be a great wedding venue place. Wow. Look at the color of that sky. Awesome. We're at the Samari Spa. There are peacocks all over the place. That one flew just as I was getting ready to take its picture. Another one of the walkways here at the Samari. Just gorgeous. Well, we're at the Samari Spa somewhere in Ecuador, and we're going to have dinner.
No, this is my kind.
This is quite a place.
I don't understand why this.
Well, we've had our dinner and now we're down in the dungeon. Actually, this is the wine cellar. Yeah.
Oh, bright light.
Wow. Look at there. This is incredible. Oh.
I told you, bright light.
Wow. This is incredible.
Somebody get a snack.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna see that
This is it. There we go. Who called this meeting?
All right. So actually, the reason we called you down here is because we want to honor you. Get out of here. Absolutely. Listen, whenever we go on these trips, we take a vote. Are we going to honor them? Yes or no? And you got a good, solid, barely over half.
Yeah, what does that mean? It means like everybody's luggage out the one.
What we do is on our own, and Springfield shouldn't see this. We take a collection, and we have this, and this is for you, from us, for you and your wife. This should be enough in this country to get a really good weekend away. And we want to thank you for all you've done.
I've been waiting for the punchline.
The punchline is it could be empty.
I'm down here for this.
We came down here to honor you, and thank you for all you did for us. And it's really, you made the trip. Oh my gosh, look where we are now. We're in a dungeon. The wine cellar. Best missionary ever.
We tell all the missionaries. I'll be honest with you, every once in a while we have a team that we break out the karaoke down here. Karaoke machine back here.
But we really appreciate what you did. Appreciate your wife, and we are missionary. We're from missionary churches. We support missionaries because we believe in missions, and we all can't go, but we can send, and it's important to us. It's important to our pastor. It's important to our churches, and we get to be the representatives suffering for Jesus over here. That's so nice. Not today, right? So, anyway, we love you, and it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to be tangible. So, and we already told your wife we're doing this. You can't hide it. No, okay, we haven't. Hide it if you want. But that's why we brought you down here.
Yeah.
Speech. Anybody want to say anything? You're welcome to.
Oh, wow, guys. I didn't expect that. Crazies.
Thank you for making.
All right, well, I'll take a minute, and then we're going to let you go down from here. First of all, before we start go anywhere, I know you all saw this week that it really is a team that makes it happen. Our team in Sucúa, which for me is just a huge honor to be a part of. I'm there because I see it day in and day out, the fruit and the good soil. And there's so much more plowing to do. There's so much more putting the seed in the ground. In English, there's not a word for it like there's in Spanish. Planting, yeah. We call it planting when we plant a proclaimer. We call it planting. And then the other privilege, obviously, what we get to do is we get to connect with teams and become one big team with our churches. And it's just been a huge privilege just this week to be with you guys and to see everybody come in like you did, just for all of you for the very first time in Sucúa, not knowing one side from the other and how it all works, and everybody just jumped in, especially on the rain day. That was phenomenal. That was just seeing the church in action, seeing your pastor's heart in action. Even though he's not here, I saw him through all of you, and it's his driving force in the church that. I told some of you the story when I went back to itinerate for the first time in 2014, because we were in Mobile. It's way down there in the bottom, in the Gulf almost, and most of Alabama, most of the action AG is happening at least Montgomery and north. So I really, even though I'd been there over 10 years, and my father-in-law was a presbyter and all that, we really didn't have a lot of connection with churches north of Montgomery north, and we're supposed to be making all these contacts. I came back and I was like, man, where do you start? It seemed like most of the churches I called, are small little churches that don't have secretaries, and just having one of those weeks where it's like, how's this going to work? It's like, I'm not a salesman, never going to be a salesman. I don't want to do that. And I called Evangel one day, and the sweet lady named Luana answered the phone, and she just made me feel like I mattered. It was really special. And not only that, she said, hold on, pastor wants to talk to you. That doesn't happen a whole lot. Even calling our AV churches, it just doesn't. And I talked with your pastor, and felt like we've been best friends. It was just really, really special. And so I just say that to for your church, for your pastor, what you guys are doing for missions. It really, it's more than just thank you. I mean, we couldn't do and operate like we do without you. And, there's a lot of missionaries that don't have those relationships in churches like yours, and they're trying, but a lot of times we see them burn out. We see them, just not quite getting there, not quite making it. To have it all firing on all 8 cylinders, you got to have missionaries, boots on the ground, a well-rounded plan, church planting, building up leadership. You can build churches all day long, but if you're not building up leaders to lead those churches, it's just going to become a building in the community, and in the jungle it's going to rot real fast, and that's going to be it. And then obviously when you see needs like the girls and the girls' home, it's one thing to have that, but if you don't have the connection with churches back, whether in the States or wherever, somewhere along the line things don't happen. But this week is a perfect example of when it works together, and when we're just so appreciative of that, of seeing how your church has stepped in and individuals making that happen. So thank you guys. That's from Joil and Leah and all the team, myself. You happen to pick a week that Joel and I both were fighting through some things, and just the typical stuff we normally are fighting through, parasites and viruses and weird stuff. You made it fun. You helped us break in Jonathan pretty good this week. Pretty good first team, huh?
Second.
Oh, that's right. You were here. You've been here the first time.
Best team ever.
Yeah. The first one was such a stressor that I tried to wipe it out of my memory. No. And I didn't know if we could marvel. I just wanted to take a second right now, because a lot of you were doing a lot of different things, and maybe not, didn't see everything else, but I was just making a mental list the other day about some of the things that you accomplished. Let me run through some of those, and then you help me fill in some of the blanks of things I've missed. One is the library. Making a fun environment for the girls, a warm environment, especially now this year with having a whole team of younger girls come in. That's new for us too. Usually, they were a little bit older, 12, 13, 14, or even older. We had a whole slew of 10 and 11-year-olds come in this year. Well, they want to play dolls. They want to have the doll house, and they want to have neat little spaces. And having Madonna come and spearhead that wouldn't happen if you weren't on this team. That was just,
it didn't feel like work. It was a lot of fun.
It would have just been one more little thing in the back of my mind that I wish we could get done, and no, maybe the next team. But God ordained it that you were on this team, and made that happen.
Thank you for letting me be a part of that.
So that was awesome. And with that, it spearheaded us thinking about some other little neat things to do up there. So that's going to be a neat thing to see happen. Electric work, some of that, was moving plugs and outlets and not seeming like much. Those little details are huge. It's all those little things that keep this house going and moving forward. Ceiling fans. We've had 2 girls' rooms all year so far without ceiling fans. All the other ones have ceiling fans, and 2 girls have been suffering. We've been hearing about it. We know from different ones how hot it is in there, and you guys took care of that. 2 ceiling fans were hung in those rooms, and that's awesome. And just think of that as, you did that for your daughters, for your little girls who are in there when it's 95 degrees, and you blessed them, blessed us by doing that. Of course, the bleacher work outside, Mikey Mike getting out there on those bleachers, putting your abilities in that. It's awesome. Bobby, say there's a closet, get it done. Not only did you get it done, you could drive a tank up on that stuff. My wife can climb it, and somebody even said, I thought you said something about a ladder. I was like, that's the beauty of this. You don't have to have it. It is a ladder. You can climb up it on yourself. Because just like you said, it's only, there's nothing heavy on those shelves, But we all know that down the road there's something on top, and it's going to be my wife that has to get to that top, and she's going to climb up that. And I know, not a problem. Bobby made it. She's going to climb to the top.
Thanks.
Not only that, the other things, that wall. There's been some girls climbing over that bedroom into the shower thing, and down in there, just being mischievous, curious little girls, and they can't do it anymore. So that was awesome. Let's see. Obviously, the appearance of the Hope House from the road, from 200 yards away, it just looks just incredible, beautiful. With the painting, the cleaning, the varnishing, Chris taking down that stuff and just getting all those little details. Again, it was you guys loving on those girls and loving us by your service. Let's see, am I missing anything? Yeah, that's all. No, obviously, how many touched more than 2,000 rocks this week? I know these two young men right here, amongst others, but particularly these two guys were out there when everybody else was busy doing other jobs. They hung on it, and the two younger guys as well, and obviously many more. You know who you were, and again. I know Joel was really nervous about that, thinking, it's just rocks. I think he probably shared this with you, the curtain rods. Yes. Yeah. And I thought of that when we're out there. It goes, I know this is kind of like curtain rods, but if you can see the bigger picture, and then by you taking the time and doing the Bible in that foundation, I think you guys get it. You realize that it's not about putting the steeple on top. It's that foundation. That's the strongness that matters. And we can't even see exactly what that's going to look like. But within the year, there's going to be a new building, and it can't be built. It's already designed, but we can't start it until that retaining wall is solid and packed, and that foundation is there. And you guys made that happen. And there's, to be honest with you, Joel's right, because some churches, they want to see, this grand thing that they did and left, and you were a church that didn't have to have that, walk away and say, look at this, look at the steeple we put on. But to know that you just got in there with the mud and the guts and the sweat and blood, cracked fingers and everything else that you did, that's awesome. I know I'm leaving out some things too. You clean around that little sink I've been wanting to get cleaned. You varnish shelves that no one even knows you did, Chris. What more? Toilets that were fixed. Jason was in there fixing leaky toilets the very first day. There was water. Most of you don't even know that. That bugs us, but it's like a continuous thing. There's water in the bathroom floors. If that was your daughters, you wouldn't want them, walking through that, knowing where that water is. That dirty water, or is that good water? And the very first thing Jason did was when the girls were in school, he went in that bathroom and he inspected every one of those and didn't just put a Band-Aid on it. He fixed those so there would not be any more water leaking. That's huge to us. What am I missing?
Cement work, right? Are you doing the cement?
The mortar work. That's in a whole nother thing. He's getting his apartment ready.
Dan tightened all those screens.
Yep, and the screens. That apartment, that's something that a guy like Robin one day might be able to stay there for a little bit, and we built that as kind of a retirement grandparents kind of place. For having extra eyes around the house, and a man who can be there to help us with changing burnout light bulbs, or fixing loose screens, or doing different things like that. A grandma who can be there to hug the girls when they come in and when they go out to school. So that's what that little building is. So, all right. Well,
That means you got to get married.
Yeah. Well, you want us to start looking?
Yeah, absolutely.
What we say out there is the ladies It's the wider the feet and the more land. A lot of the ladies have the land that's passed down. That's kind of the joke. How wide is her feet? Because that means she's strong. Yeah. Let me share you one little story, and then I want to hear a couple things from some of you. We won't keep it too long. But a couple of years ago, we had an invitation to go into the village. It was somewhat drivable from Sucúa, 4-wheel drive, definitely. The first time we went in, we were the very first non-shore to ever show up in this village. So that was we were kind of excited about that. It's kind of a huge honor to be able to go in. And plus we didn't want to blow it. It was like, man, they're letting us in and it's got to be good. We had a few medical people with us and a kids program, and everything went great. The name of the village is 13 hijos. How many sons is that? 13 sons. About 50 years ago, a young man and his new bride or so went up in the mountain to establish their town. And guess how many sons they had? 13. I'm not sure how many daughters, but they had at least 13 sons. And that's the name of the town. And some of their kids are still there, and the grandkids, I remember them. They told me it was 80 something grandkids that they had at one time. So he invited us back, and I was so excited like that. Yes. So the next Sunday rolls around. I get the white Land Rover pickup truck. This was back in 2011 or 2012. And Sunday morning came around. I had my kids in the back. They could ride in the back then. We didn't have laws about that then. Got a team of some of our shore leaders together. And Sunday morning, heading there, we did one service at the church at the bottom of the mountain, and then it was time to head up to 13 Sons, which is way up in the mountain. And locked in the hubs. Well, no, that's in my Jeep. You don't have to lock them in on the Land Rover. But we're heading up, and I'm just full of excitement. I can't believe I get to be here, get to do this stuff. Come up over the first hill where you're leaving even a little bit of civilization that you guys saw. You're leaving that behind, and all of a sudden, wham! In 1 second, everything just changed. In 1 second, my heart rate rose about 200 beats a minute. Sweat, perspiration, complete loss of control in 1 second. What happened? Well, it was just my second time up there. The first time, everything was great. Everything went so good. The second time, everything was going so good, and in the second, it changed. I didn't realize, being a rookie at it, that it had rained all night the night before. When I came over that first little knoll to go down the other side, I had absolutely zero control of the truck. I got my kids in the back, I got my friends in the back. It's a cliff on this side, there's a giant hole on this side, and I've got nothing. I can't turn, I can't stop. I have zero control of that truck. What happened? Well, only one thing saved us. Obviously, God. But it was the ruts. The wheels slid into those ruts, and I couldn't do anything. But the truck followed those ruts all the way down the hill until it leveled out at the bottom. And I sat there, it's just like, and it was wow. And then there was nothing you do but continue on. We got to get up that village. They're expecting us. So I stayed in 4-wheel, and it was loosey-goosey in a lot of ways, and it was hard. There's a couple other places that were pretty dicey. But as I was riding back there, as I'm driving, the Lord started showing me that all ruts aren't bad. We talk about our life trying to get out of the rut. Stay out of the rut. Don't get in the rut. It's always a negative thing. But it turned around on me that day, and I realized the ruts can be a positive thing. Sometimes when it all breaks loose and everything goes south, I don't know what it says, I should say when everything goes north, and you have no control, those ruts that you've established in your life, the good ruts, can save you. When you're down and out and can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, when the sun's not going to rise in the morning, and you don't have enough to lift your own head, what does Proverbs 3 say? He is the glory and the lifter of my head. We don't even have to have it in that moment, as long as we remember who our God is. And I learned a lesson that day. I had to take those folks back not long after that in the dark one night. This is it's a pretty challenging ride. I'll tell you, any given Sunday, I went there every Sunday for the first 3 years that we lived there in Sucúa. I made it to the top to that village in the truck driving, probably only 30% of the time. The other 70% of the time, the mountain won, the mud won, and we walked. So it's a tough one. And one night I had to bring them in the dark up that. And there was times where, again, it was just the feel, the security of those ruts. When I couldn't even see, I couldn't see that cliff. I knew it was there. I didn't want to go off it. But I knew that rut because I'd traveled that before. That rut didn't lead off the cliff, it led straight. When I was 15 years old, I got a life lesson in this. And I was able to connect it afterwards when I realized this whole thing about going to this village. When I was 15, one of my brothers, running from God, great guy, everybody loved him, funny as can be, big, strong, but he had a problem drinking. And he'd get sideways with his girlfriend, couldn't handle the pressure in New York, and he would run to Florida to be with his buddies, and then he'd get frustrated down there, and he'd miss his kids and want to get back, and he'd come back to New York. He kept doing that. The last time he got in the car, I was pulling out of the driveway. My mom, who was the rock of our family, the solid, the glue, everything, she said, "Danny, you can't. You got to quit running from God. You got to quit running." And I remember seeing a tear come down his face, and he was standing there at the car, and he got in. He said, "I know, Mom," and he took off. And I got a phone call. I was 15. I answered the phone, and it was a cop. And he said, "You have a brother, Dan?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I need to talk to your parents." And he was in a bar July 4th, and somebody else in the bar thought it was their property. My brother was intruding, and pulled out a .44 Magnum and went after him and shot him 4 or 5 times. And you all know, anybody knows .44 Magnum, one bullet is all it takes. My brother was miraculously alive. He was in the hospital, still in surgery. He lived 36 hours. And that was just enough time for my mom to get on the airplane and get to Florida. And she was able to hold his hands and talk with him one last time. And they were able to ask him, say, "Danny, now you can't run. Now you have to accept the Lord." And he did. In his very, very last breath, he had tubes in his mouth, couldn't speak. But with his hands and with his eyes and with his air, he said yes. And we have that assurance that he's on the other side, that everything's okay. But what it did to my mother, she was a nurse for 30 years, everything. It sent her in a tailspin. Physically, she didn't sleep for a solid 2 weeks. She lost her mind. She lost all ability to talk, to feed herself. We had to put her in her own hospital, which everybody knew. How embarrassing was that? Everybody knew her. She was so far gone that she escaped out the second-story window of that hospital, climbed out the window on the side. That's how far she was gone. I couldn't talk with her. But here's the thing. We'd walk into her room, and she'd be praying in tongues. Praying in tongues. She never lost that. That was a rut so deep in her life, her relationship with the Lord. That rut guided her through. And the good news is she came out the other side. She finished strong. She passed in 1997. Went out. We were in Albuquerque then, serving in the church, and she came out that last year of her life. We didn't know she had cancer. She didn't tell us, and she was herself. I was one of the pastors at the church. I show up on Sunday. There's new people there. I go to greet them and said, "Hey, how'd you come?" And that lady over there invited us at the grocery store. I'm like, "My mother?" She was there for 2 weeks. I can't tell you how many people came to the church because my mom was there for 2 weeks. She'd go up and down our neighborhood, inviting everybody. That was her, and she finished strong. But it was those ruts of prayer that she developed in her life, that when she had no control, that's what got her through. And one of the ruts of your church is missions. And it's part of when the storms come. I know you deal with a lot of stuff. I know all the things you got to go through to keep going. Sunday to Sunday sometimes, and it's a challenge. But it's part of what I know keeps you going is that missions rut that you developed. That God's honoring that, and I know He's going to continue doing that. That's going to be our prayer for you all, that He'll honor that, and you'll see things happen in Montgomery that is a direct result of the seed you've planted here, the love that you've shown here. It's going to come back to you there. It may not ever manifest itself in the church, but in the heavenlies, it's there, for sure. And so that's my devotion in a can for the week. And just remember that no matter what, but the key is this: don't wait to the storm, don't wait to the rain, because if those ruts weren't developed, they weren't going to just happen when I started down that hill. They don't just show up because, oh, you know Jesus and you call out to Him. Some things, it's only because we have worn out our knees on the carpet. We're good at crying out when we need something right away, but a lot of times it's when things are okay. When the sun's shining, that's when we're forming those habits. Psalms 3 is one of those scriptures for me. It's one of those habits. There's been days where I've had to say that to myself 10 times, 100 times, just to get through the day. But Thou, O Lord, are glory lifting my head. Many are they that say, there is no help for me in God. All around me, the enemies are coming. All around. David was writing that when everybody was coming for him, even his own family. And there was only one hope, and that was God Himself. That's the beauty of what we have, that we have that. We have that assurance. We have that hope. And this week you shared that with people who have no clue, but now they do. You showed those girls love in a way. You helped them form those ruts, and then that they will know that when all hell comes against them, every relationship, every hug, every smile, every prayer bracelet that you guys remember to pray for, all that is reminding them, wow, no, those people, that's real. That is real. Everybody else can tell me it's not real, but I saw it through the faces of these people. We know that that's being formed in those girls because of you. So I'll end with that. Thank you so much. Obviously, I enjoy what I'm doing. It's never a sacrifice for me. It is sometimes for our families, for our wives especially. But for me, you don't ever worry about that. My hat's off to you guys for doing what you do, where you do it, and never quit, never giving up. Never give up on Montgomery. Never give up on the United States. Sometimes you want to, and then you remember it's the individual. And the last thing I'll say is this. There's nothing any more special about the little girls at the Hope House or in those villages that you met this week. Nothing any more special about them than the people right there in Montgomery. They're all God's. And sometimes it's easy to, I've been in your seats, where it's easy to, I'm talking to Bill about it, it's like your mission's fix. I just get there and do that, and loving those people, I can live a little bit longer back there doing my job or whatever. But it's those people that live right next to us that maybe we need to bring cookies to, or stop and mow their lawn, or something. Same thing you do in a second. Same thing you pay $2,000 to do to come down here. Sometimes it's harder to do it right there. But we need to remember that, and that's one way that you can continue it, is deepening that rut right there in your neighborhood or in your church, getting behind your pastor 110%. If it's a car show, get in there. Hawk popcorn, whatever you do. Make it happen. Make it happen. Good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow. Well, it's morning in Ecuador. Beautiful. No, Thursday morning. This is the way we travel. The day we travel back to Montgomery from Quito.
So I'll give you enough little things like that to make your mind come back, right? Chocolate banana avocados, see the outdoor water station.
We are in Baños, Ecuador, and we're getting ready to go in here and do a little shopping.
Yeah, shopping.
It is about 10 o'clock on Thursday morning.
Sometimes it's a Divas.
Yes, I saw some of those.
Wow. They're busy at it.
Ready.
Hola.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigo? Venir a visitar Ecuador.
Bueno. The little lady who runs the shop.
No judgment. I don't know if I can squeeze it in my luggage.
Yes.
Okay.
You
You got all kind of stuff in here. T-shirts, blankets, ponchos, scarves, dresses. Yep, there's Gary over there. Whoa, Gary.
Okay.
You loading up.
I am. I think I've got everybody something,
There you go.
but I would.
There's
like to
Angie
get,
over there.
Two extra large.
And the Selma Flash up there. Okay, we're getting ready to head out. Ciao. Well, we are in Baños Thursday morning. That's the day that we leave. And we are in a little shopping area. We just left. We're getting ready to get back on the bus. It's a little touristy town, Baños, just like the Baño. Speaking of tourists, look who I found. There is our bus. Where we are leaving Baños.
Yeah, so I actually answered you with an answer. What kind of fool am I? A short one. Yeah. Yeah.
Right up to your left-hand side of the bus is that volcano looming up there. It's in the clouds. But we're coming up on a spot where in 2006, the last big lava flow eruption went right across this road and shut it down. During that time, when they opened it up, one of our teams went through. Shortly after they opened it up, one of the guys on that team was telling me he remembered little boys on the side of the road selling hot rocks to tourists going by, still smoking. Smoking rocks. Smoking hot rocks when you find out how many tickets you have.
Oh, snap.
That was ugly. Well, look at those farms down there. Beautiful. Well, here we are at latitude 000000, the center of the Earth. And we're going to go in and take the tour of this little area, do a little shopping. some of our guys getting ready to go on the tour, the next tour. Well, we are at the center of the earth.
Look, Jack, it's the center of my earth.
Oh my goodness.
Right here.
No, it's Earth. It's on film.
Well, we're in a little hut at the equator.
Okay, my friends, so we're going to start the tour in this part of around the museum. I'm going to show you a little bit all over. So we got people living in the Amazon area, in the mountains, and then I'm going to show you the process of the shrunken head. We're looking for volunteers, just in case.
Here you go, Mikey. Go
Okay,
ahead.
you can be the next shrunken head for the museum. And then we go to the middle of the world, and we're going to do the water demonstration, the example. You know the example, how the water drains in the north and the southern hemisphere, and the egg balancing. And if you succeed at the end of the tour, you got the certificate for balancing the egg.
Well, they're coming out of the hut. Somewhat. And Jonathan. Well, we are at the center of the earth.
Okay, so finally, this is it. The last day in the middle of the world. But, okay, so, you been there already to the monument?
To the fake one?
No, it's just the old one.
We weren't there last time.
Because we don't like to say the fake and the real. We just like to say the old and the new quarters.
Ah,
The
okay.
French, because that's the French measurement, they didn't have GPS.
Right.
They did physics, mathematics, and geography. And now we got smartphones. We only need to do this and we know where we are in a second. So that's why we got two lines. And you have to take two pictures, with the old and with the new.
There you
Otherwise,
go.
you've never been to the Equator line, okay? So please, you have to know that in Ecuador is the only place where the line is painted. Because you know we're talking this imaginary line. In other places, there is not a painted line on the ground. So you cannot do this. You cannot be standing on both sides. Because there is
Wow.
nothing making the deviation. Okay? And you know, the equator line goes through all over. So Colombia, Brazil, it's in the Amazon, on the equator line. But where the line is crossing by, it's the Amazon rainforest. Then it goes the way to Africa. In Kenya, there is a painted line as well in Uganda. And then it's Indonesia. So not painted line there. Okay? So you have to guess, please. Where is the north and where is the south? Any idea? Can you feel? Can you guess? No. Sorry? You are in the north side. Yes, that's
Wow,
the south.
smart man.
Yeah, south, north, east, and west. But please, over there we got a big sign. Is where I'm gonna take the picture of you. Yes, please come over here. Oops.
Come here, dear.
Good.
I don't need one.
Aww.
Oh, he was taking it too.
It's not the sun really the earth, but the native people got a mistake. For them, the sun was moving. Okay, so technically, until yesterday, the sun was in the south. Because today the sun is in the middle, and tomorrow the sun will move to the north. So that's why your days in the north will be longer and warmer, but in the south shorter and colder. So you can see, because now the sun is not south, it's not north, it's right over the line. This watch is not working. But I got this piece of paper and look, can you see the shadow and the paper? And you can see the time. According to this, is 22:04. What time is it on your watches, please?
352.
3:52. So, but this is 22:04. So, which one is not working well, this or yours? No, yours. Sorry. You better ask your money back. Look at this, please. The spacing between numbers is not the same as our watch. Every day only 23 hours. 50.
Wow.
It's how you got the job. You didn't and you got the job. Okay, so now you know it is possible. Remember, if you manage to do it, you got the egg certificate. There you go. Please try
There
it.
you go.
Try it. Okay, please, who wants to try here? And you can try it in the other side here. Okay. Hold it with your finger. The secret? Talk to the egg that he's, very handsome and
That's our secret for everything.
Oh, sorry, please. Now we need to move to the north because the other bigger.
Doesn't matter how tall the nail is.
Sorry. No, you can eat it.
We got some chewing
Okay,
gum.
sorry. Yeah, that helps a lot. Okay, two more. Sorry.
Very gently. She had a magnet in her.
Yeah, right.
Let the yolk settle.
Balance your body. Balance your feet. Look at the base of the egg. So if you think you're too tall, stand lower on the ground. So you must be eye level to do it.
Whoa!
Egg master, good. Congratulations. Okay, so you please pay attention to the U.S. and you please from the south pay attention to Australia. Tell me, which way is Australia going for you and which way is the U.S. going for you? Clockwise or counterclockwise? Which way?
Counterclockwise.
Clockwise or counter?
Counterclockwise.
For you, it's going counter. Yeah, counterclockwise. And for you, it's going clockwise. The other question is, from the U.S. to Ecuador, you came up or down to Ecuador?
Down.
Down. You always say down. But actually, it is up to Ecuador. Sorry for this, but I'm gonna blow your mind. It's because we always been studying this one in the wrong way, like that, straight up and down. But if you want to go, or you're going tonight back home, you are not flying up to the States. You are going north or you go south. That's the way back to the U.S. That's the way to Australia. So Australia is not down there. Okay? It's south-north. On the space we're tilted a little bit. So from here, okay, from the U.S. or from Australia, look, everybody's coming up. Because you're coming to the bulge of the earth. You're coming to the wider part of the world. Okay? So when the earth is spinning, because this is the bulge, we're going the fastest here, and this speed is making wind and water going like this. In the south, they call them cyclones. In the north, how do you call them? Why? Cyclone, because it's going like a cycle. The exact word for the north must be anticyclone. But the local Caribbean people in their language, they say huracán. That's why you use the word for the same effect, and you call them hurricane. But here along the line, nothing. For us, everything is peaceful. And that's the name of the ocean here.
There's the other group down there.
Okay, so same thing we did with the globe is what we're gonna do with the water over here. Come around the sink. Okay, I need you look on top and watch the leaves when I take the plug out. Ready, everybody? Yes? Yes. Please, ma'am, come here to this side. Come here. Yeah, okay, here. See this. Yeah. Okay, ready? Look on top. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. What's happening?
Go straight down.
Straight down. Any kind of swirl, nothing on the equator. Straight. Now, please, let's go to Australia. Sure. This is Australia.
Let's go.
We are in Australia now.
Okay, ready? Yes. 1, 2, and 3. So in Australia, look, which way?
Wow. Clockwise.
Clockwise.
That's the difference between straight down.
Now please, let's go to the U.S.
Okay, let's go to the U.S. Let's go to Alabama.
Okay, good. Please
Here,
come
let me-
around. Please. Okay, ready everybody?
Ready. Counterclockwise.
counterclockwise. Not in toilets.
Wow.
Remember, toilets are machines, so people design them going wrong way or the other.
Wow. See, I already can't hold it up.
That had nothing to do with the earth rotation.
Just one hand.
She was hanging on it.
Yeah, my feet are not off the ground. You don't have to be hanging. Just
Individual picture.
I'm off balance.
all right. Yeah.
Because I'm on the southern.
There is the other group.
The oldest in all of this area, and until 1996, it was the local bar. I'm sorry, nothing for you, to drink. Yeah. Without drinking, you wouldn't do it. Imagine it. Yeah, really. Camp here, please. Oh, here we go. 1875. Oh, okay.
There is the other group. Some of those are not ours, but most of them are. There's Logan right there.
Or maybe they are sure you're not gonna eat them, so.
This is the kitchen. Cocina.
This is the kitchen, the house.
Everything, the whole house.
This
Oh,
is the
okay.
living room, the kitchen.
I hear you.
The sleeping area and the storage over there. For corn, because corn was used for making the beverage, chicha. In the Amazon area, chicha, it's made out of yuca, the sweet potato.
Yes.
And they chew it and they spit it, and the saliva ferments the
Step
drink.
right there, Tom.
Yes, we drank it.
Wow.
In that way?
Well, they made it out of the house. Well, some of them have made it out of the house.
Clouds coming out.
The chicha that we had wasn't made out of yucca though. It was a.
And that's an original shrunken head.
An original shrunken head.
No.
Get the reflection. There we go.
Reflection here on the original.
That's the way how they're making this ritual. They were making this in two purposes. When they were fighting, they killed their best enemies. They shrink them. This is the fish. Remember, I was telling you, don't pee in the water because this is the one that swims up into your body. Please take a look. You can see the nose is kind of hooked.
I wouldn't have to worry about that one
It's
swimming up
impossible
mine.
if you are trying to take it back, handle. No, surgery. As I said, painful. It must be painful.
Anaconda.
There are many
Baby one.
documentaries about this. Especially Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, Grey's Anatomy, so. Grey's Anatomy, There's an episode about it. And as you know, the last part is where you have to buy. Sorry.
Boy, you were in the right spot, Tom.
Right? Here's your saver.
Thank you.
If you don't buy something here, you know what's gonna happen. Or maybe that little fish, right?
Well, only half of them is
So this is the Sala Saca Community Workshop without commitment. You take a look here, okay? So my friends, thank you so much for coming. This is the end of the tour.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay.
¿Cómo se llama?
Miriam.
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 Ah,
Sí.
cool. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so yeah.
All right.
Oh, look at that. I didn't. Oh, those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
Those are all handmade. Awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible. ¿Cómo se llama?
José.
José?
José Hurtado Salasaca.
Ah, okay.
De Baños. Yo estoy tocando esto.
Ah.
$10, $10. No hay el $10.
Well, I guess this little amphitheater, I guess they do some shows here or something. That is the other monument that is not really the center.
Right.
That is the other one.
That's where they thought it was.
Yeah.
French explorers.
They weren't mathematicians. Well, this is our group and we're getting ready to head out.